Whoa, I am really hairy. I mean, I'm Richard Neal, but I'm also really hairy today. And this is Fred the Facehugger. Today we are naked to show you, or rather to talk to you about dating and relationships. A topic I know more about than I should. Fred here doesn't know anything about it because as a facehugger, relationships are extremely short but extremely intimate. You know, he sort of latches on to people, lays an embryo in their throat, and then his progeny bursts forth from their chest in a bloody mess. But that's beside the point at the moment. If there's one piece of advice that is really, really often said, it's be yourself. Let me think about that. I'm a fat guy that spends most of his time in front of the computer. I like being in front of the computer. I watch a lot of shows that are really interesting, like SourceFed with Trisha Hirschberger, for example. And before I forget, yes, Trisha, you may link to this video. And anyone who is presently tuning in, Trisha Hirschberger does a naked blog series. She encourages her audience to make videos that are PG-13 or G-rated that are also naked and send them to her. And when a woman like Trisha Hirschberger wants you to get naked, you do it. I mean, I feel like a total idiot, but I mean, I'm doing it. So, beside the point. We are not often who we want to be. But should we be ourselves? We should be ourselves in that coming to any other person, be them a friend, be them a prospective significant other, you should always be honest and never try to pretend you're something that you're not. Don't pretend you're brave if you're really cowardly. Don't pretend you're rich if you're really poor. And don't come off as something that you really know you're not. Now look, part of being who you are is making yourself who you want to be. I mean, I'm the guy that flakes out on the gym all the time. I don't want to be the guy that flakes out on the gym all the time. So as soon as I'm done with this video, I need to go pack my gym bag and plan to hit the gym after work because that's who I want to be. And then there's the secondary thing about relationships in terms of being who you are. If you're someone who doesn't get out of the house much, you're going to have trouble meeting people. And believe me, I've looked at this whole dating website thing. Most of the people on dating websites that I get referred to are people I would never date. For varying reasons. Sometimes because they're really men. For some reason I've had at least 3 or 4 people who are really men try to approach me on the internet. So that was confusing. But, you know, hey, each to their own, that's just not my own. Oh, you know, you can see my closet in the background there. Nah. But I digress. So, in terms of relationships, one of those things you need to do, go out there and live your life. Remember, if you can afford it, that's one of the reasons why there are so few relationships in the modern day. Go out there and have something you want to do. Last date I was on. Oh, this is depressing. I was going to a Halloween thing. Yes, that was a while ago, I know. I don't date often. And the reason I went on this date is because I wanted to go on this Halloween thing. You know, really wanted to experience that. I remember I bought the best tickets and my date was 20 minutes late. And if it weren't for the fact that I had purchased the best tickets, the evening would have been ruined. And she wonders why I haven't invited her out on another date. You know, look, for one, you kept me waiting at a time that it really could have been bad. I don't like that. You didn't apologize for it either, so there's that. Other thing being I didn't feel any chemistry between us, but this is sort of kind of beside the point. Here being another thing, remember that everyone you meet, everyone you come across, is indeed a person, and and you should treat them as such. And treating people as people will bring them to you. I mean, you know, it's like when I go to the grocery store, as I believe I've mentioned in my videos before, I go out there and I talk to the person behind the register as if they're a person. They refer to me as if I'm a person, and I've never actually invited out someone from behind a register, but I've gotten a few that gave me the vibe that they'd be interested. But I had nothing to do, so this is the thing. There aren't a lot of movies in theaters that really excite me right now. I'm kind of that person that just sits around scratching his head going, yeah, do I really want to do something outside of the house? Because, you know, I work with the homeless. It doesn't pay well, and you know, I don't really have the money to go have that bad experience. Although every experience is in of itself worthwhile, you know, I have to be pretty selective about my experiences. Now, here being a thing, a good question many should ask themselves is, what is the act of dating? What is this whole relationship thing? And that is using social interaction in order to further your life somehow. So, Fred is kind of getting loose today. I don't know what's up with him. I've got him on the appropriate shoulder. This is his most comfortable position, and he's still getting loose on me. Anyway, I say too much. I'm going to use an example that Tricia Hirschberger would know. Okay, jury duty. This is the day I met Tricia Hirschberger, and I remember we were going to the elevator. Thing was over, and I had realized that she was in the group there, and then I mentioned to the person standing next to me, I believe it was an elderly woman, I always wanted to meet Tricia Hirschberger, and she pokes me in the ribs and says, you know, that depends on her. I said I wanted to meet Tricia Hirschberger. I'd also like to meet Patrick Stewart. That's not weird or creepy in any way. I have no particular reservations. I just want to meet these people because I admire their work. I mean, you know, I'm not going to go chasing after Patrick Stewart. He might be awesome, and for a dude, he's ridiculously sexy, but still, I'm not into dudes. Although I grant, you know, I still recognize the fact that Patrick Stewart, ridiculously sexy, at least for being way old. Again, I digress. But, now mind you, if I'm not mistaken, Tricia, you're not even on the market. So, had I been advancing for a date, I would have been turned down. But, as opposed to riding down an elevator in total silence, or maybe making polite conversation with people who I didn't know, would never see again, and have no real reason to interact with, I got to talk to a beautiful woman who was at least happy to meet me. Win. This is how I use social interaction to better my life, even in a small way. Now, mind you something, ladies and gentlemen. The best key you're ever going to have to finding that special someone in your life is having a friend base. So if you meet somebody and you have something to do, and they say, well, you know, I don't think my boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is would like that, you could just say, hey, look, I just want to do this thing. Let's go as a group. I mean, I feel like a fifth wheel. You meet somebody, they might be spoken for, but if you can make friends, they know someone, almost everyone does, who happens to be single. This is how the world works. You know people. This is degrees of separation, so you use your connections to branch out. You know, if you happen to know someone who's a mechanic, you go out there and say, hey man, help me work on my car. Because you know them, they're a friend, you trust them. If you know someone who's a lawyer, you have a legal question, you go and you talk to them. If you're looking for a girlfriend and you know somebody who knows someone who's single, you hope that they would, help you hook up, or at least bring you into contact with that person so you can feel them out, not physically, so that you can get an idea for their personality in a non-threatening manner. I mean, that's relationships. Now again, me, I'm great at breaking the ice. It's one thing I really do very well. And I said doo-doo, which is really, really silly that I realized that. I've been talking too long. My camera doesn't like it. Maybe I should stop talking now.